Good morning, everyone. Sina Aslan, Senior Director, Field Application and Science Team. Today is actually my 5-year anniversary with Flywheel. When I first came across the company, I was really moved by the whole, I would say, the product offering and the mission statement of, Flywheel provides a scalable cloud infrastructure for end-to-end, really data management and compute management platform for medical imaging to enable AI. If you're like me, you probably know the current barriers within the healthcare right now. We are dealing with hidden and disparate data all over the place. We have a hard time gathering the data in one place. We waste a lot of time preparing the data because there's no standard across even groups in the institution. We deal with complex compliance as far as healthcare goes, and we waste a lot of resources. We duplicate data, and there's not a single continuity within institutions. If you address all of those concerns, you're really enabling data liquidity. Data liquidity basically in healthcare means enabling data to making sure the data is available to move freely across all these systems across the board. Maybe this is your PACS, VNA, scanners, to address all of these concerns. But the moment you want to aggregate all of these things, you're faced with all these challenges of, regulatory compliance, privacy, who has access to data, who's going to see what. You want to maintain provenance, how the data came about. You're dealing with diverse data types. You're not only dealing with DICOM anymore, you're dealing with JSONs, other file formats, and they're large. And there's no standardization and labeling, as I mentioned, right? This is really the basic block for AI modeling, right? You need to have standard classification and ontology. And you want to make sure when you make the data available to your data scientists, your data is de-identified, and make sure you're providing good quality data so you have more generalizable AI models. And you want to be able to reuse your data on and on for AI. Now, Flywheel will be able to accommodate this enterprise deployment across the board with the whole data liquidity. For one, we are deployed on AWS. We take advantage of MongoDB and Amazon's EKS services. We basically ingest data from variety of sources, PACS, VNA, scanners, your storage devices, bring it into a project-based centric platform, right? As soon as the data arrives into the system, we trigger a bunch of processes. We call them gears. These are Docker containerized algorithms within the system to curate your data. That is probably for a DICOM file format would be extraction of DICOM tags, making them into metadata, classifying them, converting from one file format to another, or maybe even running some sort of a QC. All of those are automatic. So what I'm really talking about around here, a capture and curate side, is around data management. Now we get into the compute side of things. By the way, the whole capture side, we do put it in Amazon S3 storage, object storage. Now, as the data becomes available and it's already curated, we have open REST APIs, Python SDK, and MATLAB SDK for users to develop their own scripts. As a matter of fact, we offer integrated Jupyter notebooks for live interaction with the data. So you don't necessarily need to download your data in order to work with it. Now, once you do that, we encourage people to gearify. This is Docker containerizing your algorithm and pushing it to the system for both, capturing all the dependencies of that particular algorithm and taking advantage of our gear versioning within the platform. And then once you have that, you can take advantage of Amazon's EC2 services to not only perform those gears in parallel, meaning like horizontally, how many jobs you want to spin up dynamically, but also vertical configuration, meaning how much CPU, RAM, and GPU you need for a particular algorithm. because what's expensive is compute. You don't necessarily want to pay for services or VMs that you don't need it. And then once you have the compute, you have curated your data, you have pre-processed it. Now you want to enable the whole collaboration. Well, first off, you would be able to log in, and all your collaborators with their own institutions log in. We integrate with that. And then once they log in, we have specific role-based access control for each project. So somebody being able to log into the system does not mean they have access to the entire data set. We have customizable role-based permissions. And then at the very last, I'd like to highlight our reader task studies. These are blind reader studies to enable clinical trials. And with all of these features, we are enabling complex analysis, ML ops, multi-center studies, and precision medicine. And speaking of the last two, multi-center studies and precision medicine, I'd like to highlight a case study by one of our customers, NAC, National Alzheimer Coordinating Center. The whole goal for NAC is to aggregate the data and be the entity between National Aging Institute at NIH and these Alzheimer Disease Research Coordinating Center. There are, as a matter of fact, 33 of them here. So they're collecting a whole bunch of different data types, different modalities. These include imaging, clinical data, and even pathology data. With their clinical data, we integrate with their REDCap. This is a tabular database. And what happens is that we have an automatic way to bring in those clinical data as form of metadata and ingest it into Flywheel. And then the data also gets processed by these entities at NIA, and they also deposit the data into Flywheel. And having a NAC ID, this is a national ID that NAC provides, they're able to integrate all of these different metadata and data together and make it available to their data front door. This is their own institution, but given that we have Open REST API, we enable them to have access and integrate with our Flywheel core platform. That way they do quality control and integration and enable their data across the board to the investigators across the world. With that, I'd like to thank AWS for the opportunity to speak and my colleague, Clay Williams, AWS partner here. Thank you.